A new book explores the life of a local francophone who was instrumental in preserving the French language in Manitoba, helped prevent an assassination attempt on the life of the late and former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, and who also worked to protect Manitoba's endangered ecosystems. Roger Turenne's new memoir delves into 8 decades of his service to his language, his roots, Manitoba, and his country. The new book is titled Bit Player on Big Stages, A Riveting Journey Through Diplomacy, Advocacy and Cultural Survival. Joining us now is the author, Roger Turenne. Good morning, Roger. Bonjour.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this isn't your first book, but what sets this book apart is there's a French version as well as an English version that you wrote both of them. You didn't get anybody involved with writing either one of them or translating either one of them. You did all of this yourself. Two different publishers. Tell us about that.
Well, this is a bit unprecedented. I've checked it. It's never been done in Canada before. The media landscape is quite crowded. You know, it's a challenge just especially for an unknown, relatively unknown author to get published, one publisher. But I was aiming for two in 2 separate languages, and you know, long story short, it succeeded, and they're both come out relatively the same time. The French version was launched last June. The English version is coming September 3rd at McNally Robinson.
Well, congratulations. It must feel pretty fantastic to be able to say that.
It does. It was a long shot when I started this project about 4 years ago, and now I just received a copy of the English version just 3 days ago. So you know, feels good.
You are talking about your life for the last 8 decades and the many things that you've done in this community, but it all started in a small town in Saint-Pierre-Joli where you grew up as a francophone, where it was illegal to learn French, right?
It was illegal in the public schools, but we did it anyway. And there's a chapter in the book entitled The Hidden Books. And when I was about 10, 11 years old, one of my jobs when we expected the school inspector to come was to pick up all the French books at the desk, hide them in a closet at the back of the room. And when the inspector came, we were warned by the teacher ahead of time, you know, don't speak French, just behave like nice little Anglos. and then when the school inspector left, satisfied that everything was done according to the law, we took the French books out of the closet, redistributed and carried on teaching in French. This lasted for 40 years.
That's incredible.
And so, you know, that's one of the untold stories among many others that you find in the book.
Well, obviously your French tongue was very important to you as a francophone. It led you into government, and then you were also at one point working for then Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. And tell us about this assassination.
Well, actually, I have to correct a thing. I had no role at all to play in thwarting an assassination. And the assassination plot was not against the Prime Minister. It was to assassinate the Ugandan foreign minister at a conference in Ottawa by his own president.
Oh, wow.
Because he hadn't delivered the speech that he hadn't, you know, told him to read. And anyway, it was thwarted, fortunately, at the last minute, and nobody ever heard of it because it didn't happen. But it was a close call. You know, the assassination, the 2 assassins were on their way to Ottawa, and they got turned back, you know, when they made a flight connection in Rome. But again, this is one of the many stories that, you know, will interest political junkies because they're revealed here for the first time.
Now, your book launch is happening September 3rd, McNally Robinson, 7 p.m. And the person introducing your book and you, tell us about that.
The publisher will be in from Toronto, but I will also be interviewed in a setting like this one by a former Premier, Greg Selinger, who will be a special guest at that event.
So Bit Player on Big Stages, written by Roger Turenne, available September 3rd. If you want to go to McNally Robinson, everyone is welcome. Thank you so much, Roger.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.